This is Five Finger Exploding Art Technique, and I'm Owen,
And I'm Mike.
and there we go. Hey, we
There we
did
go.
we did one intro really awkwardly, and it worked out.
Yeah, there we go.
And
Someone's
yeah, we do like 75 more awkward intros. That's a show, right?
eventually will get it down.
Well,
Maybe
I
we'll come
figure
up.
we'll just do intros, and we won't bother with the show.
Maybe we'll just come up with something really, really catchy and fancy, and just do that.
Well, yeah, I was thinking maybe we'll just do a. I'll just make out like a bumper, or I'll make a little like a title screen or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Some fancy music to make us seem more professional than we actually are.
Yeah. Are you gonna make that?
No, no, I
No.
won't do that. But you know, you can if you want. I'm
Nope.
just screwing around in Painter today because it's late and I've already screwed around in Photoshop enough for one day. And yeah, I have the software. I'd like to use it and get better at it. You know, I don't have a lot of experience with it, or as not as much experience as I'd like with it. So, figure I'm just gonna play around and maybe do a study, whatever. Although I'm not really
Sure.
happy with it, but
Okay.
that's what's on my mind right now.
Just just broken art all
Bro,
around.
so you're gonna tell me the story about your?
Yeah, sure. Well, just you looked outside. It's awful out there.
Yeah,
Well, some parts, I don't know.
yeah.
Some of the places we drove were fine today, but went out in the morning and it seemed bad, but it was okay. I had to shovel off the driveway, and that weighed about 7,000 pounds, and
Hmm.
we, got that done, and then took the boys to school, and got when I went to pick up Quinn, it was just like people everywhere, sideways in the road, post-apocalyptic. Looks like a meltdown, and so I push out some car that got stuck in a thing, in an approach or whatever, and they're thinking, well, okay, that's enough.
Hmm.
And then as the day went on, wound up pushing out seven cars.
How were you just out
just
in
just happened to be
high traffic
around.
areas or what?
No, well, I guess just around
Yeah.
the school.
Uh huh.
So just being between here and the school, kept running into people that were stuck. And
Hmm.
then you're watching people pull up to these snowbanks, and they got their little front wheel drive, and they I got a little front wheel drive too, so I got nothing to say about that. But they pull
Hmm.
up, and you see them like creep up slowly on it, and you're just like, okay, yeah, you're done.
Hmm.
There's no way you're making it through that, and
Yeah.
uh, and they don't. So then I hop out and push them because two of the times we're behind them,
Uh huh.
so really had no other option but to push them out.
Hmm.
And then over at the school, you just watch people try to turn at the corner at the school, and you just be like, yeah, you're gonna make it. That guy's gonna make it. Okay, guy in the truck's gonna. Okay, and that no, no, that person no. There they go.
No, you didn't
Stuck.
make it.
Done.
No.
And then they don't make it. And
Yeah.
then I laugh a little bit and go help them.
Yeah. I didn't have any encounters today. I didn't go out much, but you know, yeah, we didn't have any issues with that. I found actually traffic was pretty dead. There wasn't a lot going on, at least in my neck of the woods. Um, you know, yeah, I guess everyone decided to stay stay off the road, or at least they're driving. There was a few people who there's always that one or two guys who have a truck bigger than their sense, and they just decide to bomb around really fast.
Hmm.
There was a couple of those guys going up and down the Deerfoot, but you know, I don't know what to say. They're accidents waiting to happen the way those guys do what they do, And it just sucks when you get the whole family in the car. I mean, it's not a big deal driving around in this weather as long as you take your time and do what you got to do. But some people sure don't know how to drive, or they're afraid to, or I don't know, just all the accidents that happen. It's just I don't know. It seems unnecessary. We're Canadians, for crying out loud. You think we would all know how to drive
Yeah.
in bad weather by you know?
Like
It's sort of
suddenly, oh, what happened?
yeah, it's like a prerequisite for living here, right? I always find it funny too. People who don't know how to dress for the weather. I've been seeing a lot of people out and about, dressed. Like I took
Yeah.
Lily to school the other day, and I was the girl from Sobeys. It's like minus with the wind chill. It's like -30 or -27. So you'll get frostbite pretty darn quick if you're not on top of things, right?
Hmm.
And she was just wearing her Sobeys apron, you know,
Yep.
just shoveling snow, freezing her butt off. And I even said to him, like, don't they have a coat for you? Like, can't Sobeys afford to give you a coat when they go shovel the walk? And she's like, oh yeah, it's inside. Thinking, okay, well,
Well,
enjoy your
you
frostbite.
might want to go get it. Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
it's all
Well,
good.
there's always a few people you see cruising around that just defiant.
Yeah,
Just be like, whatever, shaking their fists at the sky, wearing shorts.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Well, I mean, if you don't need it, I mean, a lot of people we just go from our car to our wherever we're going, so it's not like it's a
Yeah.
big, you'll be okay. But there are a few who, I don't know. I've been broken down on the side of the road at -40, and it sucks. And I told myself that will never ever happen again. And I just dress for the weather now, no matter what. And you know, I guess I always find it really funny when people don't. It just seems retarded, completely retarded. But I digress. Start lecturing people on their weather when they really want to see how we draw things. Or are you
Maybe.
drawing right now? Yeah, you're drawing. I can see your thing.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm adjusting my screen here. Hopefully that didn't mess up my recording.
Mm.
And maybe it did. I don't
I
know.
think probably did.
Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. It's back. But yeah, I just wanted to be able to see yours at the same time.
Mhm.
And since my little pop out not working, I will do that. Yeah, I'm still just trying to design more Tetris shaped weapons and items and trying
that
to
How's that going for you?
sometimes it works out. Sometimes I try to fit something into some shape because, like there, I need like some 3-block shape. So then I have to decide what goes in that shape. What's
Mhm.
something that you could put in that shape that wouldn't seem like, yeah, you just put that so that it would fit in that shape, guy.
Mhm.
I don't know. Some sort of a pistol. I guess I could have some sort of a pistol.
Why don't you just crack open a book on weaponry and then just start?
No, fuck that.
No, that would be too complicated for you. Or
Book's got words in them.
yeah, that means I'd have to read it.
It's a tool of the man.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, actually, yeah, I can lend you. I can lend you one if you want one.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's very. I'm trying to steer clear of a lot of real world stuff,
Okay.
but also trying to avoid too many fantasy cliches.
You mean like the giant meat cleaver sword that's bigger than three people?
Well, yeah, we're gonna wind up having that for sure.
People, people
There's,
just like those things, you know. It's
hmm?
it's a convention. It's a convention of fantasy now. People just like it,
Yeah,
you know.
it's well, they can be fun, but it's just because of the nature of the I don't know the tone of this game's got to be. It's a little silly. It's
Hmm.
a little like kind of tongue in cheek. Like I can have I don't know. I can have a gun that shoots knives. That's
Hmm.
fine.
Hmm.
In fact, I should have several guns that shoot knives.
I think everybody should have a gun that shoots knives.
Yeah, well, I got 4, but how many you got at home?
Uh, I don't have any.
No?
No, it's a real sad day.
Head down to the
Maybe
pawn
maybe for
shop.
Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe for Christmas.
Yeah, wish real hard. So what are you working on? Bowl of
I'm
fruit?
just gonna. Yeah, I'm just doing an old-fashioned bowl of fruit. We'll see how that works out. So, have you used Painter much before?
Uh, like ancient. Like the only thing I really love the color picker.
Yeah.
That's just because Photoshop's color picker is so broken. It's terrible.
Well, yeah. Do I like Painter? I'm so used to Photoshop. I find Painter really kind of a real challenge. To be honest, just learning new software and all that stuff. It's not it's not as intuitive. And I've been playing around. Just like, see, I got all these brush. I got some brush, like a brush palette I put together based off of like a DVD I downloaded, or not downloaded, I bought, but downloaded. But anyways, it had some stuff on this artist, Jason Chan. He talks about, these are some of the brushes that he has in his palette. So I built a palette based off of his. He's got a custom brush. And then other guys, I look at their tutorial and then I download their brushes. And I went and tried all the different oil painting brushes and figured out the ones I like and the ones I don't like. And I'm slowly trying to put together just a useful tool palette,
Hmm.
because there's so many. And that's, I find that's a big part of, say, Photoshop or digital painting or any painting in general, is getting your tools set up so you can use them the way
Oh
you'd
yeah.
like, and that's that's the main thing, getting them so you can use them, that you're happy with them, that you're confident with them, and then you can do whatever you got to do, right? So we'll see.
Just like my knife gun.
There you go, your knife gun.
The yeah, I don't know. I used it because I got it with, well, this is how here's where we spill the ages.
Hmm.
Um, I got it with my oldest Wacom tablet, which was
Hmm.
an Art Pad 2
Oh, okay.
something.
Yeah.
So that's like pre Intuos, pre, like I was using one. I think it was a Wacom. I was using one doing engineering stuff, like doing mapping stuff, and it had a puck on it,
Okay.
which was this weird sort of mouse sensor crosshair thing that
Okay.
nobody uses for anything other than mapping people. And so I thought that was real cool, and I went and got one that had a pen on it, and that was sometime in the mid 90s. And Painter came with it,
Uh-huh.
and I thought it was real cool. So then I went and bought it from the university, I think. Yes, I bought it from the university because I bought it and got the student price
Version,
on
yeah.
it. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
$60 or something by
Yeah.
comparison to 300, and
Yeah.
it came in a paint can.
Painter did?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wow.
still have the paint can somewhere. I think if it's all full of change, but it was it was a so the thing came in a paint can, and it had Painter embossed on on the lid, and had a wrapper around it, had all this art and things on it, and yeah, it was inside there was just like a disc and some stuff, and like probably pre Pantone color swatch thing,
Okay.
and it just all came in there, and yeah, so I had that, and I used that for ages because that's all I had,
Hmm.
and then never upgraded.
You're probably not missing out too much. It's I learned on how to use it using Painter 11. The only tool I like in it was the blending, like the way it blends. There's this blending tool. It's just I'll probably use it later on here, and it's great. You know, it just does such a great job. And Photoshop, maybe a newer version of Photoshop, you know, is a good equivalent, but you know, I haven't found one yet that I like that does the job as good.
Is it the that little blending palette that pops out? Where you
No,
can,
it's this tool here. It's, you know, the blend with water tool.
oh, okay.
You know, it just blends things nicely. You know, you can just get some really, you know, like some people use Photoshop, the smudge tool. I don't like it. I think it's garbage. But you know, each to their own. And yeah, um, that is that's why I like it. Yeah, and I used it. I've used it for, you know, several illustrations, and you know, I only almost the only part of Painter that I even actually use would be just that. You know, just to get that sort of that nice gradient blend that you can get with get with it. I'm rambling. You know, it's like 10:15 in the evening, so it's been a long day. So that's why I'm super coherent. I hope this makes at least a half entertaining, you know, video for us. But oh well, we'll see.
Meh.
See, turns out maybe no one will even look at it.
No. Oh, I don't know. I figure I'll wait until we got 3 or 4 up before I ever bother promoting it at all. Like,
Okay.
put them out, up, and make them available, but I won't. You can say whatever you want about them, but I'll
Okay.
wait for a little bit, and then I'll say, hey,
Yeah.
got these things, and then at least there's a few for people to watch, and then they can be like, yeah, I wasn't sure I hated these guys, but then I watched 3 of them, and I'm
And now
sure.
I'm sure.
Now,
Yeah.
now I'm on my way over to their houses to punch them.
Yeah.
So,
You wasted how much of my time? Yeah. Well, yeah, cool. You know, there's one thing that I've been getting into on YouTube is there's a guy who he makes swords. He has this channel, like the Omni
oh,
channel.
which one
He's the guy that does, like, people email him, you know, make the
is the?
Cloud Buster sword from,
Yeah, that guy.
and then he makes them for real.
Yeah,
And yeah, his stuff's great. It's fun to watch him.
Man at
What he's doing.
Arms, right?
Yeah, Man at Arms, and yeah, the YouTube channels, like
Yeah,
Omni
those are
channel.
awesome.
Yeah, it's so you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
The last one he did was Sting from The Hobbit, which is
Oh,
coming
cool.
out here pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be kind of cool. It's funny, you know, old school people go, no, that Sting's actually Bilbo's sword, and then, you know, the other ones are like, no, it's Frodo's sword. And, you know, if you want to be real picky, you can be like, well, actually, Sam used it too. So
Yeah.
the real Lord of the Rings nerds come out, and then we have a nice debate about it. But it was pretty cool to see what he did and how he did it. It's not as nice as the movie prop, you know. But
Wow.
he didn't have,
Yeah.
he wasn't, you know, the time it would take to make the movie prop version, I think, was what that's how he describes it in his video. It's just it was too time
I liked his
labor intensive.
his Sword of Omens was pretty nice.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought that
and
was yeah.
he did Link's sword too, which I thought
Oh
was
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
cool, how he did that. What was another one he did though? That he did a couple that were pretty cool. He did Thor's Mjolnir, Thor's sword or hammer, which was pretty cool. And I keep thinking, oh, you know, maybe I should put a suggestion in, but I really don't have any. And nothing springs to mind that I'd like to see him make. I just like watching him make stuff, right?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Wonder
So.
wonder how many pictures of penises he gets in his inbox.
Uh,
Hey, make this sword, buddy.
yeah, it's gonna be one of those YouTube videos that we're doing, right? Right. All the dirty jokes.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think he gets it all from just people posting, you know, hey, make this. This would look cool. You know, just on his YouTube
Mm.
page, just in the comment section. That's my impression of where it all comes from. So we shall see. But yeah, I just checked it. I just did the sword Sting today, or at least I noticed it today. And I'm not a real YouTube guy where I subscribe to channels, but I think if it would be easy to get into being that guy. There's a couple places I go to, but I haven't set up a YouTube sort of account where, like where I, log in my favorites and get updates and that sort of thing. I'm not quite that hardcore.
We, yeah, I do sometimes, but that's usually just to like save a page that the boys want to go look at.
Okay.
But they kind of know where that stuff is now, so
Uh-huh.
I don't have to do that. They just go do it. Go find
Yeah.
their. I want to watch whatever, some Minecraft or Plants vs Zombies or
Yeah,
some of a
that's
game
funny.
Terraria.
That's funny. It's funny today, Lily. So she goes up to Steph, and she says, "Oh, your computer's broken. You need to come fix your computer, right?" And she was watching a movie, and Steph's, "What do you mean my computer's broken?" And Lily, "You broke my computer, Lily. What'd you do, right?" And Lily's like, "It wasn't me. It was the unicorns did it." And Steph's like, "What are you talking about? There's no unicorns." You're telling like sometimes young kids they'll come up with the story, right? But sure enough, when Steph comes down to look at the computer, there's a unicorn. Two unicorns are sitting right on the computer, right? So they were there. She was kind of telling the truth. Unicorns contributed to the issue. So I thought it was kind of funny.
Unicorns are jerks.
Yeah.
Jerkicorns. Anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm tired too.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yeah. Shoveling, pushing. That's my day. This is my everyday.
Yeah.
Spend some of it shoveling, some of it pushing.
Just varying degrees of it, right?
Yeah, you never know which. Shoveling something, food.
Yeah, shoveling it into your mouth or
Shoveling some sleep.
yeah.
I'm gonna make a crappy hockey stick, like a.
As a weapon?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But not like a real hockey stick, like a. Where? There we go. Like a Casey Jones.
Nice.
Because they never look real. I don't know what reference they ever got for hockey sticks, but they're always like flat, right
Well, they're
angles.
American. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know, but they got sporting goods stores, right?
Yeah, well, the guys, I was at Chapters and they had a book on some anniversary book for the Ninja Turtles. And I mean, I couldn't resist. I cracked it open because I'm still trying to find out if they'll ever tell us who penciled and who inked and whatever. That's sort of the mystery for the Ninja Turtles, right? And, it's actually pretty candid interviews with the two of them talking about what they were doing and the process. And, it sounds like they just came up with this comic.
Talking about not liking each other.
Well, yeah. They came up with this comic and then, they worked. Sounds like they worked like dogs to get it out, and they were saving up their money so they could do a certain. There's a sort of they use sort of like what's the term for it? Like a zip tone type coloring process for the work, right? And they had to save up to buy certain paper so they could do that, and just some of the quirky stuff that you never hear from comic book guys nowadays, right? It's really dated, but it's for nerds like you and me, it's pretty cool, to read what they did. But it sounds like they actually both equally inked it and drew it. Like there wasn't one guy who inked it and one guy who didn't. They just sort of blended into one style. I find that kind of neat.
Yeah.
And they were pretty ballsy. I guess they did it, and then they just started sending out stuff to like everywhere. Just they'd make videotapes and send it to people. And like, yeah, come look, buy our product. Like demo tapes for the Turtles, not like animation. Just we're Turtles. This would be a great show, and it got picked up and then went viral. Some smart marketer saw it somewhere and went, I think we could do something with this, and boom, the Ninja Turtles got on the scene, and the rest is history. So I don't know. I was one of those Ninja Turtle freaks as a kid. I loved them. I thought they were super cool. I
Yeah,
watched the show
well,
all.
yeah, I liked it. I don't know. We had there was a couple kids in the neighborhood my grandma lived in anyway. That because I didn't have any kids in my neighborhood. There was like
Uh-huh.
dogs and cats. The that had the original like, and not probably not a first printing, but
Hmm.
had the old one, and they would show it to everybody, and so
Right.
we read all that, and it's like, ooh, they're swearing in a comic book,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
that turtle just killed that dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
because there was
Yeah.
a fair bit of that,
Yeah.
and so we were in awe of that, and then when the show started, we're kind of like, well, what's
Where's the
this?
violence?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this is different than what I know.
Yeah.
So it
Well,
was
it was
a
an
bit
indie
of a
comic, right? Like what
yeah.
we
So
saw, it was an indie comic, and you know that in itself, in the 80s was pretty rare.
yeah, so which always makes me wonder, like, where the hell did we find this? Because small town Saskatchewan, like,
Yeah.
how does that happen? That you just all of a sudden somebody's like, yeah, I got this Ninja Turtles comic. Really? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was really popular by then, and we just didn't notice. It's kind of
Uh,
like the certain things kind of came and went, and it was like it didn't reach as far. Like, well, the my always thing is the video game crash. Like it, in the early '80s, the video game market just crumbled. Mid
okay.
'80s, and but that just didn't ever happen in
Uh-huh.
in Canada or in like I knew there was the value bin with a whole bunch of Atari cartridges, but it was there was no like wasteland of video games. There was tons. Like the
Hmm.
arcades were super strong, and there were
Hmm.
constantly new things going, and so it was kind of only a certain few places in the states where that happened, and it just it didn't ripple far enough, fast enough to reach us. So it was just like as soon as the Nintendo showed up, it was like, yep, video game's still going.
Hmm.
Like it just never quit. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure how I can contribute to that, but yeah, the video games. I agree. They were a big deal back then, and they still are. Yeah, I was playing. It's funny. I prefer those old games more than the new ones in some ways. You can just sit down and play an old game. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You can sit down. Like I've been playing. It's funny. I've been playing X-Men: Children of the Atom,
Yep.
and that's kind of a 1994 is when that game came out. And I remember when it came out, it was like, oh, X-Men. And, like it's like Street Fighter, but it's with the X-Men. How cool is that? And, I was never any good at it. And I played it whenever I could, as much as I could, but I always got my ass handed to me. So, when I got a chance, now I have it, I can play it as much as I want. And I keep playing it over and over and over, and I'm still not getting very far. I've never been like my controllers for the Xbox. It's on the Xbox, and they're
Yeah.
starting to get pretty worn out now. You try to do a move and you just can't because the controller's just not responding.
Mm.
So, but whatever, it's fun. I'm enjoying playing it. And the point is, I enjoy playing these old games more so than some of the newer ones. Like it's just a simpler time. You can just pick up a game, play for half an hour, and call her done. Right? Itch
Hmm.
scratched.
There's well, they're coming out all the time, but there's a fair number of games coming out now that are of a similar, I don't know, temperament.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? That
Oh, okay. I'll accept it.
yeah,
Hmm.
we've gone to the judges.
Hmm.
Temperament? No, yeah, okay, fair enough. The yeah, it's
Well, I guess some games now you just can't. You're not playing them. Remember, you would play a game just to play it for a few hours and then call her quits right before bed or whatever you're doing as a kid, right?
hmm
And now, like I had the last game I bought was The Last of Us, right? And I played that game. It's a great game. Love the game. Lots of fun. But it's an investment of time, right? You got to sit there and play it and play it and play it to get anywhere, to get anything done. And you know, it's not something you can just sit down and play for an hour and okay, I'm done. You really do have to sit down and play it for a long time to get anything out of it and to win it or do whatever. Just that kind of experience is not as common in games like console games. They tend to be, you play it to win it, and they take a long time. And do you get where I'm going with that, or am I just sort of
yeah.
rambling?
No, some
Yeah,
of them, yeah, take a long time. I
yeah,
I kind of I go back and forth on that.
hmm
Like I'll do I'll play something that's short. Like I just finished Brothers, which I think that was only like 3 hours or so,
hmm
which is like that's two sittings or
hmm
something like that. And I played that, and I played Gone Home, and that's a couple hours. And
hmm
they're all right. So I do that, and then I kind of fall back into something else that takes, I don't know, hours and hours and hours, and some 40-hour monstrosity of a game, and I do that for a while, and then I get sick of that, and then I go back to something small.
hmm hmm
But you've got so much. There's just so much choice
hmm
right right about now, like that you're just if you decide you want to play something small, you know there's 17 games just right there.
hmm
So especially on stuff like Steam, you just
Yeah,
pull
yeah,
up.
yeah. I just remember when new games would come out, it'd be like such a big deal, and you'd be looking at the back of the comic books, and I guess I'm feeling nostalgic. Maybe that's it.
You
But yeah, we're talking about nostalgia stuff, and so that's what's on my mind, right? I'm thinking of
you
all that stuff from when we were a kid, right? Ninja Turtles and the
well,
game experience when we were kids was just. I don't. It sounds like it's the same. Like your kids sound like they're really engrossed in what's out there and following up on things, and they're really into Minecraft and everything.
hmm
So it seems like gaming's alive and well.
oh yeah, yep, never been more so probably.
Yeah.
And it's it's established to a point where people are not just saying, "Hey, we should take this seriously," because
hmm
that's been forever. Is like, I wish people would take these seriously. Why don't people take this seriously? Well, now a lot of people do because they've grown up knowing nothing else, right?
Right.
Like we grew up and there was a brief period when I was, I don't know, 5, maybe 4,
hmm
that there was no video games, didn't exist, and then that's it. They've been here ever since. So we're you know they're tied to us. So then
hmm
it stands to reason anybody our age who goes to make something will start to think of it in a different way, right? Like it's just part
hmm
of their life. So they're not going to think of it as something that is for a certain group. Like they're not going to think of it with a marketing focus the same way as, by the time Charlie Chaplin was making movies, they were trying to make a movie that would hit everybody, or try to make something that's focused to one particular group, or just something that they liked, but it wasn't, it was no longer novelty. it was just an art form. And I think we're already there. And then that means that there's also a lot of problems with people being like, you're too high-minded about this. It's just games. You're too, you're assigning value to things that have no value, and I say those people are probably right, but doesn't matter.
Well,
It's fun.
Interesting. Yeah, it's fun. Well, it's entertainment, and it's what we do. So, I enjoy it. It's a part of what I do is illustration. I have to stay up on current on what's going on. So it keeps me young, and it's something I've always been interested in, and even as a kid, right? So it's nice when you can make your hobby your job.
What was your first console? What was the
Me?
Yeah.
Does this count? It would be the Commodore 64 that I could plug into the TV.
Yeah, sure.
That was the
Everything
first one the first game platform we had. I never had an Atari or anything like that. So that would be my first. You?
Okay. Well, let's see, we had my grandpa had a Radio Shack branded Pong game,
Okay.
and it was just some one that they made as a knockoff, right? Like everybody had their own Pong, and it would have a switch, so you could switch it between like doubles tennis and hockey, and it was all just Pong, but it was like Pong with 4 paddles, Pong with 2 paddles.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and-
No, I remember. Yeah, we had the Commodore 64. I remember when Mom brought it home, it was like a big deal, and I didn't really like it. It had the tape deck
Yeah.
and all those cartridges, and Robin, my sister, couldn't figure out how to use it, and got frustrated with it. And then I eventually figured it out, and then I would play it. She never really got into it. She never did get into games, but I used to play like Raider Rat Race on that thing. It was just like mice in a maze, and got to get your pieces of cheese before the time runs out, kind of game. Nothing fancy. But remember that one, and then there was another one where you were a crook and you had to get your bags of money.
Yeah.
While these missiles were being bombed down on you. I can't remember the name. And you have to hide behind walls, and I don't remember what it was called, but yeah, I remember
there was about 7 of those, so it could have been.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, though. You understand.
Yep.
The basic premise of the game.
Well,
So
I was trying to come up with the title.
Yeah.
Give me a few minutes, I might. But
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
did you ever play the original Q*bert?
yep, like arcade.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was super hard.
Yeah, I never did get a chance to play it. It's one of those games that I was like, I want to play Q*bert. I always wanted to play that, and I never did. And Zaxxon,
Oh yeah.
you remember that one?
Yeah.
We had Zaxxon the board game, but no
Remember
one in my family was interested in playing it. So I remember getting it for Christmas one year, and I didn't know how to play it, and the rules looked really complicated. So I used to just play with the little jets that came with the Zaxxon game,
that. Right.
like a whole series of jets, and
It was a little plastic things, wasn't it?
yeah,
Was
yeah,
there little plastic jets or spaceships or whatever they are, and little plastic missile towers and little plastic.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know it.
I played a lot of Zaxxon.
Yeah. Like what was it? Was it like a? I don't think I ever saw it in the arcade, so I wouldn't even.
It's
know.
like it was a flying shooting game, but the gimmick was that you could move the ship left and right, and it was like an isometric perspective. But you could also move the ship up and down, so you would have to fly up and over to get between these little holes in the walls.
Uh-huh.
So it was trying to be the Star Wars trench run before
Okay.
they could do anything like that. So then there was missiles that would come at you, and you'd have to get to the right height and position to shoot them.
Okay.
Only thing is not actual 3D, so judging the right height and position is, just as much a guesswork as anything. There
Okay.
was a shadow that was supposed to help you, but it didn't really.
See, I love how you have this encyclopedic knowledge of classic video games. It's great.
It's all I think about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they're fun.
to the detriment of everything. Health.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No one dies someday, but
Yeah.
I can tell you the secret code to get through the end of POW.
Millipede.
Well, I remember playing Contra in the arcade and trying
Oh
to
yeah.
do that up down down trick, and it never
Nah,
seemed
don't
to work
work
in
in
the
the
arcade.
arcade. No,
You know, I
no,
thought that was
that's a
total jip.
home only thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. See, now this is where I'd have to go to the internet and find out, and somebody be like, "No, you're wrong. It was just slightly different." But
Yeah.
I think the Konami code stuff came with R-Type or Life Force, maybe.
Konami code. What are you talking about?
Up, down, down, left, right,
Oh,
left, right.
that was in all Konami games.
Yeah. Well, it was in. I think that it starts in Life Force. I might be wrong, but it's one of
Okay.
those. And and yeah, it was just their cheat code for the testers,
Okay.
so that they could skip through chunks of the game or
Huh.
give themselves extra lives or whatever to get through the game. It wasn't ever intended for people, but
Oh, I wonder if a lot of I never even considered that the reason those were there were for testers. I just thought they were Easter eggs that they actually put in for kids to play, to
it's
figure
just,
out.
yeah, like Contra was wicked hard, so
Yeah,
they
it
needed
was.
some way to get through it without having to. And on arcade board, you have like actual hardware that you can pipe into. You can hook something into to check it.
Right.
But on a cartridge, you kind of have to play through it to test it. So
Yeah.
they they had to make these cheat codes,
Huh.
and yeah, that's where that's where those come from. So, and now they're just for fun, but
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. No, it was a great game. It was hard. I was just playing it the other day, the emulator, and yeah, I didn't get very far, but it was
the
fun.
the arcade version, or
Yeah, the arcade version.
you know, I like Contra, but Super Contra. We had a Super Contra game in the 7-Eleven in
Hmm.
Kindersley, and it was, for whatever reason, we mastered that thing.
Uh-huh.
So me and another kid would go over, and we'd both put in a quarter, and if we had to put in another quarter, we messed up.
Okay.
Like that was, and we would go through and finish it. And it's not an easy game,
No,
but
no.
we just, for whatever reason, mastered that thing and would go through and be like, "You go high, I'll go low," and we'd split up. I'd always get spread shot. He'd always get the machine gun, and
Hmm.
yeah,
That sounds like fun.
it was.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
Memories. Hmm?
those were good times. Yeah. What?
Hmm?
Oh, you're laughing, or?
I'm just
Yeah.
laughing at old man memories.
Yeah, it's like yeah, those were good times. No,
like
they were
I
good times.
actually accomplished something.
Yeah,
I'm
but they were good games, right? They were a lot of fun, and we used to. Like, it was a triumph just to be able to beat the game or to wrap it.
oh yeah.
It's like I wrapped that game. There was a lot of games I never even came close to beating, and some of them were so long and hard, and like the original Zelda was a long pain in the ass. I never had it, but I had a friend who had it, and I had a friend who had the Adventures of Link, And I remember going over to his place just to watch him play it. And I remember being there when he had to fight Dark Link. When he first, like, oh, you finally made it, and then Dark Link shows up and he has to fight him and he just gets his ass handed to them. And the kid lost his mind and threw his controller across the room. And he was one of those kids, right? And he just went crazy. I'm like, okay, I'm going home now. I don't know if I want to hang out with you
Yeah.
anymore. But yeah, it was intense. It was like it was a fun game, but yeah, it was a pretty intense experience to do that. But at the time, it was a huge deal. And I remember when games like Rampage finally got ported over to the NES from the arcade,
Right.
and it was like, oh my God, Rampage! You can finally play it at home. This is awesome, and you know, those were big deals. That was
Rampage, Gauntlet.
yeah. What was a real disappointment was I bought the Predator game,
Ah,
right? And I remember I had so much. You save up your cash and you're like, okay, I'm going to go to Toys R Us and buy a game. And then you go there and you're looking at everything and you look at it and you go, oh my God, they've got a game on the Predator. It's got to be awesome. And then you play it and it's like one of the worst games ever made.
yeah.
And it was such a jip that I bought it, and then here I'm stuck with this terrible, terrible game.
I like that. It's gotta be awesome. That's
Yeah.
the last cry of every
Yeah, they can't screw up the
poor
Predator.
jilted
Wah,
kid
wah, wah.
buying a movie license game.
Yeah, I was that kid.
Yeah, I do. I always had computers, so I didn't have a. I didn't have a Nintendo, like the actual NES machine, until I don't know, probably like 10 years ago,
Hmm.
maybe 12 years ago, something like that. And by that point, I've played all the games on emulators, and I'm kind of just like, well, that's cool, I guess.
Hmm.
Still gotta have one because I'm broken like that, but they're never really. So I never really had any of that. I always did computers and weird computers that only British people know about.
Like the Tandy 1000.
No, I used one of those, but
Hmm.
I didn't never have. I had a Timex Sinclair,
Okay, we had a Tandy 1000.
which is a ZX Sinclair and everywhere else. But
Hmm.
you had a Tandy 1000. They were all right.
Yeah, it was
I had
fine.
uh,
I mean, I only
friends who
used it to
had
play
them.
games, so
They would play. I don't know.
Space
Play
Quest.
Space Quest, Police Quest.
Yeah.
Play Police Quest and not walk around your car and lose.
Yeah,
Always
those
kind
games
of.
were so tough though. They were fun, but I liked how they you had to word it just so, like King's Quest, Police Quest, and it was real easy to screw it up and do it wrong. But it was always it was challenging, right? It was fun to play. They weren't like some games you could just play through them and no challenge at all, right? Those I remember Space Quest was real tough.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they were horrific. There was only a couple of or those adventure games that I ever managed to make it all the way through.
Hmm. Well, I remember my mom. She was dating some guy, and his sons had Leisure Suit Larry. And I remember going over there, and he's like, "Yeah, oh well, here, why don't you play some games on our computer while we do grown up stuff, right?" And his boys were like they were grown up, right? So
Mm.
it's not like we visited or talked or anything, but they were the guys you go over there and like, oh here we go, we have this game here, go play it. And I'm playing Leisure Suit Larry, and I'm like, I'm playing Leisure Suit Larry.
Broke my mind.
Yeah, oh
Yeah,
no, and you never did get to. You had to lie about your age.
yeah,
They'd ask you your age before you could play the game, and then you're hoping you might see an illicit picture of something, but you never really do. At least I never did.
yeah. We played that. I played that on my friend's Apple. He always had Apple machines, and
Okay.
yeah, we played that down in the basement, like hiding it, like we're like we're getting away with something.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
parents are just like, you idiots. There's nothing going on that screen
Yeah, yeah.
except some like vaguely filthy jokes.
Yeah, yeah. It was a pretty tame, but at the time I thought, oh man, if they find out I'm playing this, and you know, I'm in trouble. But they were also these guys. They had like a subscription to Playboy, and you know, it was just you go over there, and it was you know, oh my goodness, you know, it's a man's house, you know. Whereas
Entered Sodom. It's
yeah,
crazy here.
it was. I remember they just had a big stack of Playboys just on a a shelf just there. You know, when you're I guess it was like 11 or 12. It was like, oh my god, look at all this stuff. You know, everyone had their. There was always that. You know, the one guy would show up at school with like a Playboy magazine, and he'd be like, "Oh, where did you get that? How'd you find that?" And it was always, "Oh, I found it in an alley somewhere."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what alleys are you going down? I know, and to this
an
day,
alley,
if I'm
in the
cruising down an
forest.
alley, I'm looking for that elusive Playboy that just happens to be there, right?
Well,
Hmm?
you've seen the forest porn, right?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yeah,
This is okay. I thought everybody knew, or
no.
everybody's experienced this. Just like you just be walking through some forest or some wooded area, and there's just like
Yeah.
a box of porn just left,
Okay.
and you know, I always thought that this was just kind of the thing that kids found, and apparently not an isolated thing. This happened the world over. The the handing down of the tale of the forest porn is
It
that's
was
that's
there's
old. Hmm?
but there's are there even forests in Saskatchewan, Owen?
Well, there's a stand of trees somewhere.
So you found
There was 7 trees. It was enough to block view of the porn from the
yeah.
road, and so that's where it got put.
Well, I remember you'd find like there'd be hobo nests down in Fish Creek Park,
Sure. Yeah, there you
and
go.
there'd always be a couple of smutty magazines in the hobo nest.
Well, that's where they come from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've
that's
I've
the
nailed it.
forest porn. Well, other than we didn't have hobos, so it was just some kid who
Yeah.
didn't want to get caught. Or some adult who didn't want. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know who had it.
Yeah.
Whatever. We
But
found
you
it. It
but
was
you
sitting
took it.
there. You'd respectfully leave it there for the next adventurer to come
Oh, you
stumble
would?
upon. Oh, well,
You
yeah.
did take it?
No,
Well, I guess you couldn't take
that's
it
what you
home.
do. Yeah. What are you gonna do with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You leave it where you found it, and
Yeah.
you turn the pages with a stick because you don't know where
Oh,
that's been. and
yeah. Yeah. You got to be safe. You got to be sanitary,
and
right?
that's
Why is this page sticking together?
that's how the ritual goes.
Yeah. Yeah. The good times. Yeah, these are the memories that you don't really remember very often. This is the kind of weird stuff we start talking about when we're just doing our thing.
Yeah.
Welcome
So
to
anyway, at the
Five
same
Finger Art.
time, we are
Yeah,
drawing.
yeah.
Yeah, and we're painting.
Well, I'm playing around. I managed to press a hotkey in Painter, and now I can't adjust the size of the brush. It's locked on a size, and I don't know how to unlock it. Do you know?
No.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, freaking brush won't. I can't change the size of the brush, and it has something to do with, undo, like Control Z. But it's like I press Control Z, and I must have hit something else, like Control Alt Z, or I don't know what I did. But now the brush is locked, and I can't unlock it. I don't know how. So the only way I think to fix it would be to, shut down Painter. Do
Yeah, I
nothing.
don't know. I
So
don't
I
know.
hate it when that stuff happens. It's like that's the stuff that sucks about learning new software, right? Because you're
Yeah.
trying to, oh man, I gotta go figure this out. I already know how to do it in Photoshop. What the hell? I'm wasting my time.
Yeah. Though some stuff like that, like I'm using that Krita,
No, I haven't tried that yet.
it's yeah, it's really slick, and I keep finding stuff by accident,
Hmm.
and just be like, it's the exact opposite of what you just said. So I'll just hit a key and then be like, "Oh, that did something." Like you can scale up and down your brush just by holding shift.
Mhm.
Well, that's kind of nice. And then, yeah, so I'm still in that stage.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I'll get to where I'm, getting disappointed by stuff not being where I thought it should be
Yeah.
soon. But
Yeah. See, like, yeah, it's just no, it's a pain. It's a pain in the butt here. See, yeah. So yeah, I think what I need to do to learn this, to learn Painter better, at least to understand the brushes and stuff, is to discipline myself to stick to one brush and then do a study with just the one brush, right? And then get it down and then kind of play around.
right,
It's hard to get that painterly look,
yeah,
you
it
know?
was like a whole candy box over there of brushes, right? And
Oh yeah, the brushes are. I mean, just pick your medium, and
that's
then you've
why
got to go through all these different brushes here, and then figure out which one.
you use this thing here, this mischief, because they're like, oh yeah, you got well, how about
Hmm.
four brushes? That's all you need, right? And
Yeah.
then there's a calligraphy one down there that you're never going to use. How about just get rid of those? Then have three.
Well, I
Forget
mean,
about
there's
it.
brushes that like you can get some neat stuff. Like right now, I'm just screwing around, but there's some. There's like this drippy one.
Oh yeah,
It's in here. It's like a drippy felt. I'm like, that's awesome. To get like that kind of. There's some textury brush things that you can get that you just wouldn't get with. I haven't seen yet in Paint or Photoshop, right? So, if you're one of those guys that can really, like, you have like a arty or you're an artsy or you're going for that sort of traditional media look, or like it's it can do a good job for you. But and that's what was hoping to get out of Painter, but I haven't yet. You know, I haven't figured it out yet. I don't have a process, but I'd like to, eventually do more of that. Bleh, as I'm wrecking my still life. Anyways, I
that's
think
fine.
it's been about an hour here, so I'm gonna call her a day.
Yeah,
Does that work for you?
I think so.
All right. So
Done. I'm drawing a
yeah,
fist and I don't even know what I'm doing. Well, I'm drawing some weird gauntlet because, hey,
that might be fun.
might have a weird gauntlet in this game.
Sure. Well, yeah, we're gonna sign off here and talk to you later. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye. Um, so that was my sign.